We are back with another video, and I wanted to react to this new Gacha Smack video. Gacha Smack dropped. This system is outdated and flawed in the gacha space, so I don't know what he's talking about. Now, I can give you quite a few things that I think are outdated. I'm keeping a stack. I got a lot of things in my mind. But what I like about Gacha Smack is when he presents a problem, he presents a solution. So if he's going to present a problem in the space, there will be some sort of solution there, and we could look to see, do we agree, do we disagree, do we even think what he's talking about is a problem, or is it not a problem, you know what I'm saying? So let's get right into it, man. I just kind of want to see what's happening. By the way, as well as Gacha Smack, free plug, you know, I will be streaming Neverness to Everness for 72 hours starting on Thanksgiving. I will be doing a 72-hour stream on Thanksgiving. I was one of the 20 content creators that got chose to stream that game early, which I'm very grateful for. Thank you, NTE. So, yeah, I'll be on Twitch. I'll be on YouTube. We'll be streaming that, getting out as much content as humanly possible. So that being said, let's get right into it. Let's see what the deal is. So, what's up, Gacha? What up, baby?
Welcome back to another video by yours truly. I'm gonna go ahead and let y'all know this is the second time I had to record this video. You want to know why? Because the goddamn audio went out for no reason at all. But we're gonna talk about it again because you know what? Practice makes perfect. So I wanted to talk to you guys about the underlying issue I've come to notice. It's an inherent flaw in gacha games, and that is the banner system. When you pull on these characters as a veteran player and you've been a frequent spender and a frequent player as the game's debut launch all the way in today, it's going on 2 years for Honkai Star Rail, you are inevitably going to come across the realization that you have all the 4-star characters. And
thank God. Bro, I'm gonna let him cook. The 4-star problem has been possibly the worst problem. Like that is like, it's not as bad as like Genshin Staffahoma incident with Baldman Techie, but the 4-star problem is pretty rough. It's pretty rough, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't even have a C6 Kuki yet because I just get every single other character that is on banner. You know, people don't have Sethos and Genshin. People don't have full C6 characters in Woola yet, because sometimes your luck is just atrocious. My girlfriend doesn't have C5 Baiji. She's pulled on every Baiji banner a million times. We have spent $1 million, that is a tax write-off, and no C6 Baiji or C5 Baiji for the revive. The 4-star system genuinely is one of it is one of the biggest flaws. I think it's a top 3 flaw in all gacha games due to the fact that you cannot select. I feel like once you hit a certain amount of pity, you should be able to select and say, okay, after like 80 pulls, whatever the case may be, if I want to get Sanhua or whoever the case may be, after I get a 5-star, all right, next 10 pull, you'll get that character, right? So I think that there should definitely be some sort of fix to that. Now, will we ever see that? Probably not, right? That's how they make money. You know, that's how they incentivize players to pull on banners that they don't necessarily want a 5-star for, and then they wind up running out of free-to-play gems, and then they got to swipe. So yeah, that is crazy. Also, by the way, sometimes getting a C6 4-star costs more money than getting just a normal 5-star, or just even a 4-star in general, because you could roll for Orion right now, or Orion, whatever his name is, and not get him. Or you could roll for C6 and spend $400 to get a C6 4-star. It's one of those things that have been probably the biggest issue. So yeah, I'm happy to talk about this.
Or copies maxed out. They're built up, right?
Yeah.
So if there are 3 promotional characters, which we've come to see in the 2.7 live stream for Sunday, the most valuable and prized possession character right now in the past 30 patches, you're not excited about his banner because you see the 4-stars and you're like, I already have those E6'd. There's literally no incentive for me to pull on this banner except Sunday himself. Exactly. And this is somewhat of a punishment to a veteran player because it's just like,
it's a massive. It's not somewhat
punished for owning all of these characters.
It's not somewhat of a punishment. It is 1000% a punishment, and I think we saw that very clearly. You see that you definitely see that in Woowa now, especially for someone like me, right? Even though sometimes people struggle, but put Woowa to the side. You definitely see that again. You definitely see that in Star Rail. I mean, like, they put Barbara on a banner. Everyone and their mom has C6 Barbara. There's no reason to keep putting these characters on the banner. And then after that, the other problem that you have is you go years or so many months without a specific 4-star that the community goes insane. I think Kaveh is possibly the worst Genshin Impact character of all time, but the fact that he didn't have a rerun for like, what, 13 months? or something crazy like that. Like that is not okay. Like that is insane. So not only do you struggle with that, but then once a character is gone, you know, if you're looking up like a Hyperbloom build and you're like, hey, you need Kuki Shinobu, and like, okay, let me go find when Kuki Shinobu is, and it's like last rerun was in 10 months, like, oh. Or you see that, oh, last rerun was a month ago, you're like, oh, okay, now I have to wait a year. So now that team is obsolete. So the system, just even time locking, how long and separated their time locking. Again, Wuwa doesn't have this as much of a problem with this because the game is newer. So there's only a certain amount of 4 stars. But Star Rail, Genshin. You know, I don't really know about ZZZ. I think ZZ only does 2 4 stars a banner, I believe. I don't know. But I don't know if there's really a problem with that. I don't play ZZ as much. Dead Game EOS. So yeah, that is like a big issue as well that I hope he addresses, or maybe he does. I don't know.
It's kind of weird. And I remember there was an argument made by a chatter during the stream, or I think he might have commented on my YouTube channel. Regardless, he said, well, Smack, I prefer to have the characters maxed out. That way I can get my 1 pull currency. And then that's when it dawned on me. This guy has been getting treated like shit in this space for so long that he thinks that 1 pull is a good thing. It's a bad thing that you only get 1 pull back after doing 10 pulls. When we take into consideration the premium price point of how much these banners cost. We're talking $100 per 50 to 55 wishes. Correct me there. I think it's somewhere between there. So getting 1 pullback after you already have the 4-star characters maxed out is inexcusable, guys. There needs to be more compensation for already having characters developed. So I want to talk about the solutions here after presenting you this very obvious
pull is
problem.
rough.
One solution we can do here is there's no excuse for Hoyo to not have an increase in 4-star volume. 4-star volume would allow us to have more newer 4 stars upon these new premium priced banners. And that's going to help with the excitement, because after all, what's the most exciting thing in a gacha game? Pulling on the characters. That's where all the hype, that's where all the excitement and happiness occurs. Also the heartbreaks when you realize you lost that 50-50. So what I propose here is that they increase the volume of the 4-star characters. Now you might be asking yourself, Mac.
Well, actually, Gacha Smack, the reason why they can't increase the volume of the 4, don't worry, I got this. Genshin Impact made $5 billion. If you expect them, or Star Rail, to make more 4-star characters, they can't afford it. Okay? According to Century Tower Report, their EOS, and Shinta EOS, he's right though. He's right. More 4 stars is great. And the thing about it is it's actually such a simple fix because, especially for Star Rail, right? You can just make a bunch of 4 stars just within certain niches that fit that new character or might fit a rerun. You know, like there was no reason why Genshin Impact still uses Benny, like a 1.0 character like from Mondstadt, right? Like over time, there should have been other characters who are on the same level as Benny's buffing to the point where 4 stars, I'm saying 4 stars as well, that should have been able to provide that much value or a similar value, and maybe in different situations or similar situations, excuse me, maybe not exactly 1-to-1, but close to it, because that way, if I do not have Benny, I can then roll this new 4-star who is just maybe a fingernail or a little bit underneath Bennett. However, they will not do that because they are lazy.
I don't want 4-star characters because their value is always going to be inferior to a 5-star character. But here's the thing. That's a problem with development on the company. Your only incentive to play 4-star characters should not just be because I enjoy them and I like how their art style looks. It should also be, well, honestly, they're almost just as good as the 5-star characters. Wuthering Waves has done an exceptional job with its 4-star characters. Sanhua, Yang Yang, Donjin, the new girl, the little leprechaun girl that came out. I hate Yuhu, but yeah, she's all right. All of these characters
good alternative.
Are dead ass meta. They're just as good as the 5-star characters so far, right? We'll see what happens as time progresses. But what I'm trying to tell you here is that there should be an increase in value for the 4-star characters, an increase in volume. That way, when we pull on these banners going forward, we're more excited. We're like, oh my God, I got that 4-star character. I might have lost the 50-50, but at least I got a new 4-star. Veteran players right now, guys, we're pulling on these banners. We're just like, God, when's my 5-star coming home, man? Because I ain't got shit else to be pulling on this banner for. No other incentive. And it's bad. It's inherently flawed. And I don't know how on God's green earth, it's lasted as long as it has. And you know why? People do not speak up in this community on underlying problems.
I think one of the reasons why it's lasted so long, because I don't know if maybe, I think it is an issue that gets overlooked quite a bit. I do see people complain about it, not enough though. But I think the reason why it lasted so long is because Hoyoverse is so successful in the way that they have done anything from Genshin onwards, that if it's not broke, don't fix it. Now, we know it's broke, but the developer pockets are showing, in fact, quite the opposite. And so I don't know if it will ever change, truthfully, because again, not to go into like a whole fucking business lesson or something, but the whole problem with the gacha space is that when you just copy what is working, or just in any business at all, you copy what's working for everyone and you're all profitable, nobody's going to change, and every company is going to be complacent due to the fact there is no incentive for them to change the 4-star banners. To make a selector or even interchangeable 4-stars, maybe give you a list of fucking 10 of them or like 9 of them and say, hey, why, or 6, right? Why don't you pick the 3 that you want from? And then at least you can kind of focus it down a little bit more. There will never be a change, because of the fact that if a company decides to change and make a better system, that is going to shake up the space and probably be overall net negative, because these other companies are like, oh my God, now we're going to have to shift. And then it's just going to cause like, it's just going to be a negative effect. It's too much effort to spend too much money for not enough return just for player satisfaction. So all companies are going to just copy the Genshin model and the Hoyoverse model because it works. So yeah, I don't disagree with him. I just don't think it will ever change. But 100%, he's right. He's cooking.
We can't improve anything if you don't voice your concerns, and you are the reason these games survive. You're the reason they're alive. And if you don't speak up, then no change is going to occur. Now, of course, we have to take into consideration change that is within the scopes of what they deem fair. Right? Which means we got to sprinkle a little bit of dirt on that improvement. You can't sprinkle gold on it, right? You can't say, I need another 5-star. We gotta stay realistic here, boys. All right, this is a gacha company. Now, the other thing I wanted to talk to you about is solution number 2. Solution number 2 is you still get your 1/10 resource back,
which is ass still.
In addition to that, we get the most scarcity. The resource in the game that has the most scarcity, we get that in addition to our 1 pullback. So, you already got an E6, whatever the fuck 4-star Ting Yun. You already got an E6 Ting Yun. Well, you get 1 pullback that you always get, and you get 20 purple books. This helps you set up for the future and develop your characters the moment they come out and increase them all.
That's the easiest solution. That's the easiest solution.
And that is the worst possible way of improvement, by the way. Asking for 20 books on top of a 1 pull, that's the worst way. The best way is increase the volume of the 4-star characters, or the third solution is allow us to choose between other 4-star characters. Stop releasing just 3 with the 5-star. Release 3.
Yes.
Do the idea that you've already implemented into your game.
For the love of God, please.
Characters. Remember the banner where Fei Xiao came out. It was Fei Xiao, Robin, Kafka, and Black Swan. That was a fucking quadruple entendre. No, I'm just kidding. Kendrick Lamar reference. It was a literal quadruple.
Squabble up. Mustard! Squabble up. Sorry.
Scenario where you have so many characters to choose from. That is a beautiful thing as somebody who's trying to go for dot comps, who's trying to go for follow-up comps. More options, better. Do that with the 4-stars. 3-star, because if I see 3 4-stars down there and I go, I already have those maxed out, guess what? I can now look at the other 3 that are on reserve and say, let me flop him in there because I actually don't have him maxed out. It's a little bit of an improvement that's not going to just take a shit in their lawn.
It's a massive
diminish the income that they are making off of these banners, which is an absurd amount of income.
The easiest thing, the great part about this is the counter argument to this is saying, well, how do you know to determine what 4-stars to alternate? The simplest solution is while the 5-star banners are limited to like 2 weeks or 2.5 weeks, the 4-stars, you combine all the 4-stars that you were going to put in the first half and the second half, you fucking slap them some bitches together, say, okay, for all of banner, you will have the choice of these 6 characters. Don't even make it 9. And that way, you have more rotations of characters. You don't need to wait a year plus for Kave. You don't need to wait a year for a Tingyun or whatever the case may be, right? I don't really know HSR that much, but you don't need to wait that long, because then now you know, okay, I have like a month. I have like a calm month and a half, or how, I don't even know how long these patches last. 60 days, 50 days. I got 50 days to get my C6 Sanhua, right? And so it also incentivizes players because they have time to grind. They know, okay, I have to get this before it goes away. People can say, oh no, well, the thing is realistically, it actually will make them more lazy because they would rather just wait, and then because it's a longer time. Now, my counter argument to that is, well, they'll spend more money at the end of the day. If they don't grind, they'll spend more money, therefore they make more profit. But also they know, okay, I have a higher chance of getting what I've specifically selected out of these characters. So it just makes perfect sense. So when people are going to say, well, how do you know what to choose? Fucking just combine the 2 4-star banners together. It's so fucking simple. I actually don't know why no one else has thought about it. Thank fucking God for Gacha Smack, because I don't understand why no one else has brought this up.
I don't think I'm being unreasonable here by bringing this up, and I'm sure many different veteran players are also going to be in agreement with this, like, diminish in excitement. Again, this is the most imperative factor in a gacha game, pulling on the banners. So it's important that we preserve the excitement by making sure we feel rewarded for pulling on these banners. If the 5 stars is the only reason, then we've kind of entered a season of the gacha game where it's like, maybe we should just leave, because I don't want to just pull on a gacha character and not be rewarded for it. I assure you, I don't have the statistics here, but there's a lot of people who are veteran players who get to that point, who get to that crossroad, and they go, yeah, I think it's just time for me to move on. Right? So that's a bad thing for the 100%. Company. That's less money, and their popularity of their game is going to go downhill as well. At the end of the day, this is all up for discussion. I would love to hear your thoughts on the matter. So please comment down below and share them. Let me know what you think. Now that I've wrapped up with everything I wanted to talk about, I just want to let you guys know a little behind the scenes, like, reveal here. Holy spoilers!
Oh, crap.
I actually have my best friend of all time right next to me. Anything
matter. That's subject.
If it's an intelligent individual who's had a good time to think about it, I would like to say that the comment that they leave is going to be devoid of any vitriol feelings.
Content. So not necessarily the process, but whenever you
about that process.
Okay, I think they're kind of just like, I think like you said, behind the scenes, he's probably just talking to his friend. By the way, W Gacha Smack, shout out to his friend. I think let me know if I missed anything in that video. I don't think we missed anything. But yeah, I think overall great video. And I wish more people would say this. Again, I don't think it'll ever change. I really don't. But I hope it does. With that being said, I love y'all. I'll see you in the next one. I'll see you in the 72-hour stream. Never